very warm welcome, everyone, to today's edition of Frontier. Opening bell is the Monday, the 12th of December. As we go cruise along to the middle of the week, then we've got about 2 weeks left in the month of December, and this is counting down the final trading days of the current year. The Nigerian market finished Friday 1.07% as we continue to see investors bargain hunting on big names in the banking space, in industrial goods such as cement maker, as well as consumer goods space as well. Those big names seem to be helping the Nigerian exchange moving upside since we started the new month. The BRVM in Cote d'Ivoire was better by 1%. That's 192.38 for the composite. The Egyptian market started the week on Sunday. Cairo market went negative 1.69%. Was uptick for most of last week, but that began to nosedive on Sunday. Let's see what the start of the week with the rest of Frontier Africa will look like for one of the biggest exchanges on the continent. That's EGX, by the way. That's EGX 30 we're covering for you. The NSE was up Friday by 20 basis points. Today is an Independence Day in Kenya. Kenya is celebrating its 59th self-rule anniversary today. Early morning address been given by President William Ruto, and we'll hear a little bit more about that in the days ahead. What his plans are as he's the new president of East Africa's biggest economy. So the markets will be closed in Nairobi today until tomorrow, Tuesday, the 13th. The GSE managed 11 basis points uptick on Friday. That's 74,548 for the GSE's all-share index. That sums it up. Largely green on Friday for a number of frontier African markets. What's happening today to start the week on the economic, business, investments and news side? The Central Bank of Uganda says it's looking at inflation to dip to about 8% by the end of next year. While Access Bank made an announcement over the weekend, Barbara Barungi, who is an economist and the chairman of Naira, Africa, has been appointed as the first female chairman of Access Bank of Kenya. Barbara Barungi is replacing a Nigerian-born former chairman, Adebayo, who was the immediate past chairman of Access Bank of Kenya. I would say congratulations to Barbara Barungi. Kenya says it's losing roughly 10 billion shillings in potential tax every year to those who are counterfeiting the country's currency. Nigeria's central bank is also looking to counter the operations of the currency counterfeiters with the floating of a newly designed Naira notes. That's on the 15th. Is going to happen this week. Thursday is the official kickoff date. And Savannah Cement says he's picking a Chinese company to build $300 million plant facility, while DR Congo said a deal is done for Vodacom offices being shut down over tax disputes. We'll see how this will be resolved between the authorities in Kinshasa and the telco giants. That's the East African cotton raiser for the week for you. What's the big news across West Africa? Spoke about Nigeria's currency redesign this week. The NDIC, that's Nigeria's Deposit Insurance Corporation, says about 9 billion Naira has in unauthorized withdrawals from banks had been tracked and returned to the banking sector. These activities of fraudsters who are using digital space and technology to defraud people, unauthorized withdrawals done, some by bank staff themselves. This amounts to roughly 10 billion. And thanks to insurance corporation says this money had been tracked down and they've been returned to the owners within the banking system. The World Bank is sounding an alarm about the global economic outlook as well as the International Monetary Fund. The two Bretton Woods institutions made those announcements towards the end of last week and says an economic recession is not out of place and that could happen as soon as the new year. Banks and other fund managers are looking to grab part of roughly $6 billion US. That's about 3.6 trillion Nigerian currency that's outside the banking system that the central bank is looking to return to the banking space before the window closes on January the 31st, 2023. So banks, fund managers, mutual funds, managers, asset managers are looking for this money to come through and help investments as folks look to return billions and billions of naira they've had in their coffers as the central bank reintroduces newly redesigned currency notes within Africa's biggest economic space. The World Bank is allocating about $400 million in credits to Sierra Leone to support the country's fiscal balance, while Ghana Central Depositories and that of WAEMU, which is West Africa's monetary union, have signed an agreement of cooperation and partnership on how to ensure that the global depositories of Ghana and that of the WAEMU are synced together to ensure better operations of the currencies exchange, as well as depository, transactions, settlements, and what have you. All of these are within the papers which were signed sometime last week. And we wish both parties all the best, helping financial inclusion and deepening within the West African region. Take it all up into South Africa. The load shedding by Eskom is still in everyone's crosshairs. But again, business and life and all that has to go on. So the South African GSC named a new chief financial officer close to the weekend. Forza Suleiman is the new CFO for the biggest exchange on the continent. Anglo American has joined its other miners such as Glencore to warn about production and the costs associated with producing mineral resources in South Africa. The extortion mafia in South Africa, the total amount is about 947 billion rand in the mining sector alone. That is a major issue for mining authorities as well as Cyril Ramaphosa's administration. Uganda has bad news for Eskom, saying his hydropower licenses in the country will not be renewed for next year, 2023. And the biggest gathering of heads of state of African governments, including policymakers, investors, business leaders, starts tomorrow, the 11th of December till the 13th. And to see how starts tomorrow, the 13th of December, because until the 15th, which is Thursday, to discuss trade, bilateral relations, as well as other issues between United States and Africa. It's the first time that President Biden is having this post-COVID with African leaders. Nigerian president had already touched down in Washington, D.C. for this crucial 3-day event, which will have a whole lot of events surrounding the main event in which President Biden is the chief host. The administration in Washington will be looking to worm its way back to the heart of Africa, considering debts and a whole lot of other trade relations, including duty-free, that countries such as Rwanda, Kenya, and others will be looking to achieve with African countries, with the United States. Then you've got extant trade issues, some clothing between Rwanda and Washington. That will also be an issue. China is also there, as well as Russia. President Biden will look to warm up relationship between America and Africa with this particular trade pact, trying to push back on the influence of Russia and President of Russia on the back of this relationship. So this is the old window for US to look good before these African partners. Let's get on to the North African corridor. Quite a bit of news. And then this iconic European brand, Christian Dior, says it's opening a number of outlets in the fourth quarter of 2024 in Egypt. Is going to be a major move by Christian Dior to open shops, but ministers within Egypt are looking beyond that. They would want Christian Dior to put boots on the ground and open manufacturing outlets or facilities within Egypt, not just shops for merchandising. Inflation, core inflation in Egypt came in at 21.5% in the month of November. That's a red hot, if you ask me. And the House of Reps in Morocco has given the final approval for the country's 2023 finance bill. That bill passed the second reading on Thursday. And Morocco's Home Maricom is finalizing the acquisition of Credit Agricole, which is banking unit of Credit Agricole of Egypt. That is being finalized within regulatory approvals, in particular from the Bank Al Maghrib, which is the central bank of Morocco. And that's it for this Monday on Your Frontier Opening Bell. I'll see you next time, everyone. Have a great day and bye for now.